Alright, this is Math 2, Unit 11, Lesson 3, some homework help, some additional practice multiplying binomials. And you probably learned a couple different ways of multiplying binomials today, perhaps using the FOIL method or something along those lines. So we'll kind of go over a few of those today, as well as just some basic stuff for how we do that. If you recall from class, the method they might have talked about was the FOIL, F-O-I-L, which means we're looking at the first terms, the outside terms, the inside terms, and the last terms as we multiply different parts that are in here. All right. So the first term idea would be like with number 1. The first term is b to b, and b times b is a b squared. The outside terms would be a b to the times 1, which is just plain old b. The inside terms would be negative 2 times b, which gives me a negative 2b. And the negative 2 times 1 gives me just a negative 2 for the last terms there. That's the FOIL method there. I always draw it as a little lovely little bird. And there's my little bird with his beak. And he's just so happy to be here having a good old time. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. My like terms are generally going to be in the middle. And so I have a b squared, a b minus a 2b, leaves me with a negative b minus 2. And that becomes my solution for number 1. Number 2, same idea. I'm going to do x times x for x squared, x times 5 for a 5x, 6 times x for a 6x, and 6 times 5 for a plus 30. I'm going to combine my middle terms because they're the same, 5x plus 6x, and I'm left with x squared plus 11x plus 30 for my solution there. Now again, your teacher might have shown you some different ways of doing that, but that's one way of using the distributive property to multiply out those two terms. Let's do one more down here just to on the same page. I have a b times b for a b squared. I have b times 3 for a 3b, negative 6 times b for a negative 6b, and negative 6 times 3 for negative 18. Again, my middle terms are the ones I usually can combine. So I'm left with a b squared. 3 minus 6 is minus 3b minus 18 for number 6. For the next section, they want you to use a table. I'm not a huge fan of the table, I guess maybe because I didn't learn it that way, but it does work, and so it can help you solve things and help you kind of see visually a different way of looking at these problems. And a table is going to look like this. And what we'll do is we'll take each term, x plus 1, right, x plus 1, and then I take this other one, x minus 11, and I write it vertically like that. Again, like I mentioned in previous homework help, the problem I have with this method is that there's more spaces for you to make a mistake in how you transfer the information over to the box. You know, when you look up above, I'm only doing the math one time and then rewriting. Here I'm essentially rewriting the whole problem. So if I was to make a mistake in rewriting, my solution would be wrong as well. So you can fall in a little error there more readily, so be careful about that. Now all I want to do is basically line up my boxes. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is just 1x. X times negative 11 is negative 11x, and 1 times negative 11 is negative 11. Now I'm going to still combine my like terms, so same as what I did before. X squared is by itself. That's by itself. My like terms are now going to be on the diagonals here. So a negative 11 and a positive 1 leaves me with a negative 10x, and then my corners stay by themselves, negative 11, just like so. Let's look at number 9 together with a box method as well. So we take a box, line it up like this, draw our T through the middle, and then we separate out our terms. I have 8w minus 3, and I have 4w minus 7. 8 times 4 is 32. W times W is W squared. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, and I still have a W. 8 times 7 is negative 56, and I still have a W. Negative 7 times negative 3 is a positive 21. My two corners here will be by themselves, so I'll have a 32W squared, and I'll have at the end of my thing a plus 21. But my middles I need to combine, and I have a negative 56 and a negative 12 for a total of a negative 68W. And that becomes my solution using the box method for number 9. Okay, let's do another box down here. We have 3Q plus 6. I have 2Q minus 5. So those are my terms that I'm working with. I draw it across like this. And I end up then with 3 times 2, is 6Q squared. 6 times 2 is 12Q. 3 times 5 is negative 15Q. And this becomes negative 30. So when I rewrite that, I have 6Q squared, negative 15, positive 12, leaves me with a negative 3Q, negative 30 for number 13. Let's look at number 18 real quick. I have, again, my box, and 2m plus 11, 6m minus 1. 2 times 6 is 12, m squared. 11 times 6 is 66m. 2m times negative 1 is negative 2m. And 11 times negative 1 is negative 11. So again, when I put all that back together, I have 12m squared. 66 minus 2 is a positive 64m minus 11 for my solution for number 18. And you can do the same thing for the rest of those problems there as you work that out. Again, I just prefer to take them and just multiply it with the FOIL or distributed method because it's a little bit faster for me to go negative 3 times 4 is negative 12z. 3 times an 8 is negative is a positive 24z. 7 times 4 is a positive 28z. And then negative times positive is a negative 56. So I'm just writing down my answers as I work it out. Combine the middles for negative 12z plus 52z minus 56. I just find there's just a little bit less copying and moving things around. It's the same process, but this might help you see it visually what you're doing. This might help you as well when you start getting longer terms to multiply out together. Let's flip it over to the back side and take a look at what you have in the back. And so for today's lesson here, the second, number 22 is a great problem because again, you're going to see some word problems like this on your test. So I would probably put a star here and make sure I kept track of that one because this type of problem will come up on your test at the end to see how do you apply these things. It says the radius of a circle is 7x plus 3. Write an expression to represent the area of the circle in simplified form. Well, the area of a circle, the formula for that, you have to remember that, is area equals pi times the radius squared. They told us the radius was 7x plus 3. So in this case, my area is going to be equal to pi times 7x plus 3 squared. That's my pi r squared. So let's take care of this part first. We have pi times 7x plus 3, and squared means I do it twice, plus 7x plus 3. So that's written out the long way. So I'm going to have to do a couple things. I'm going to have to use my distributed or FOIL method or block method to solve for this part and then distribute the pi all the way through. Let's do this part first. Let's do 7x times 7x, which is 49x squared. 7x times 3 is a positive 21x. 3 times 7x is another 21x. And 3 times 3 is going to be a positive 9. Now that whole thing is still in parentheses because I still have the pi on the outside that has to go with everything else. Okay, this is me moving it over here. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. So pi times 49x squared plus 21 plus 21 is 42x plus 9. And now what's left to do is to distribute my pi to each of those terms. So I end up with 49 pi x squared plus 42 pi x plus 9 pi. And because we are doing an area, and I saw that my units was centimeters, this whole answer would actually be centimeters squared. So kind of a long little process there to get there, but that is how you arrive at the solution for number 22. A great problem. 23 is very similar, except you see we have a length and we have a width, and you have to again find the area. The area is always length times width, which means I have two things to multiply together to solve that out. Alright, let's go ahead and do numbers 24. It's just again some nice simple FOIL method here. We have x times x is x squared, x times 6 is 6x, 4 times x is plus 4x, and 4 times 6 is 24. Combining them back together, I have x squared plus 10x plus 24 for that one there. Let's do number 28 real quick. Actually, let's go do 26. 6d squared times 8d is going to be 48d to the, now careful here, d2, d1 is d to the third. 6d squared minus 3 is a negative 18d squared. 4 times 8d is a positive 32d. And 4 times a negative 3 is a negative 12. Notice in this case here, we've been combining the middle terms. This time we can't do that because they're different. This is d to the third, d squared, d to the first, and no d. So it just remains like that. So this one here is designed to get you caught up going, oh, put them together real quick. Pay attention. If these variables are not the same, we cannot combine them. Okay? So I think of it like this. Like this is a cat, this is a dog, and this maybe is a bird. Okay? D3 stands for cat, D2 dog, D1 bird. I can't blend my cats, dogs, and birds together. It just doesn't work out. Okay? So, can't do it. Alright. Let's look at number 30 together. I want you to simplify this product. We have c times c squared, which is c to the third. I have c times a negative 3c squared becomes negative 3c squared. Sorry, I said that wrong, just c. And then c times 5 for a plus 5c. Now I move to the next one. 4 times c squared is plus 4c squared. 4 times a negative 3 is a negative 12c. And the 4 times 5 is 20. Now I need to combine things that match up. I only have one cube number, so c to the third is right there, no problem, got it. Alright, and maybe I crossed it off so I have it. I have a c squared, so I have a 4 and a minus 3. 4 minus 3 is 1, so I'm going to have a positive or plus 1c squared. So I have those. For the c's, I have negative 12 and positive 5, so I'm left with a negative 7c. So I have those, and I have just a 20 as my whole number left over at the end for that one. Alright, and that's the idea for all these here. For these next ones, if I want to do like 33 for example, which way you want to go, I can do 5t squared times 6t. Alright, that becomes 30t to the third. 5t squared times a negative 1 is a negative 5t squared. The next one, I have 3t times 6t, which gives me an 18t squared. And 3t times a negative 1 is a negative 3t. But I'm not done yet. I still have this 11. So I have to do 11. Negative 11 times 6 is a negative 66t. And a negative 11 times a negative 1 is a positive 11. So there's just a lot more kind of mess there. Same idea, but my little shapes just don't work out quite the same. It'd be a little nicer if I started here and went that way, like I did on that one, but that doesn't matter. So we're going to go 30t cubed, goes together. I have a negative 5t squared and a positive 18t. So 18 minus 5 is 13t squared. Negative 3, negative 66 for a negative 69t, and 11 at the end for my answer, number 33. Okay, well I hope that helps you out a little bit, and you do well on all your other things. Thanks.